In this video, we're going to continue topic 3.2, implicit differentiation. We're going to look at the guidelines for implicit differentiation first. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to differentiate both sides of the equation with respect to x. We're going to collect all terms involving dy dx on the left side of the equation and move all the other terms to the right side of the equation. So dy dx stays on the left, everything else goes to the right. Then we are going to factor dy dx out of the left side of the equation. And then we are going to solve dy dx by dividing both sides of the equation by the left-hand factor that does not contain the dy dx. So I'm going to just start by differentiating in example 2 here. And notice it doesn't say that you have to use implicit differentiation. You have to understand that because you see that you have x's and y's on the same side, or on the same side of the equation. It's not just solved for y equals or f of x equals. All right, so I'm going to start by taking the derivative of y squared, which would be 2y dy dx. Then I notice that I have a product rule going on because I have x times y, so I'm going to have to take that derivative. So the derivative of 2x would be 2 dx dx. I don't really have to write the dx dx. I'm writing it today to make sure you understand it, but you could just write 2. And then I'm going to keep the green the way it is. And then I'm going to keep the red the way it is, 2x. And then the derivative of the y is 1 dy dx. And then the derivative of negative x cubed would be negative 3x squared dx dx. And the derivative of 4 equals 0. I'm going to write a line to get rid of my dx dx's. So we've got 2y dy dx plus 2y plus 2x dy dx minus 3x squared equals 0. Now, in yellow, I'm actually in purple. In purple, I'm going to box anything that has a dy dx in it. And then in yellow, I'm going to box anything that doesn't have a dy dx in it, so that it's very, very obvious what is going to stay on the right and what's going to go to the left. So I'm going to move everything that's in yellow to the right side. Okay, so I know that I am I'm subtracting the negative 2y over, and I'm going to add the 3x squared over. And then I'm leaving 2y dy dx plus 2x dy dx. Then we are supposed to factor out, take out the greatest common factor of dy dx. And we are left behind with 2y plus 2x equals 3x squared minus 2y. Then I'm going to take this guy right here, and I'm going to divide it to the other side. So ultimately, dy dx equals 3x squared minus 2y over 2y plus 2x. All right, let's try example 3 together as well. So we're going to find dy dx again. Again, I notice that there's x's and y's together on the left side, so I know I'm going to use implicit differentiation. So I'm going to start by taking the derivative of x cubed, which is 3x squared dx dx, minus, I'm noticing x times y, so I know I have to use the product rule. So I've got my red function and my green function. The derivative of my red would be minus, which I already wrote down, dx dx, or 1 dx dx. And then my green gets left alone. I'm going to keep my red the way it is. Take the derivative of my green with respect to x would be dy dx, or 1 dy dx. And then the derivative of y cubed would be 3y squared dy dx. And the derivative of 0 is still 0. I'm going to write one line to clean this up a little bit. So 3x squared, and then minus y, minus x dy dx plus 3y squared dy dx equals 0. I'm going to box everything that has a dy dx in purple. and then everything that doesn't have a dy dx in yellow. I'm going to move all my yellow stuff to the right side. So I'm keeping my other stuff on the left side. So negative x dy dx plus 3y squared dy dx equals, I'm going to add the y, and then I'm going to subtract the 3x squared. It doesn't matter what order. We typically don't see the negatives hang out in front. I now am going to factor out this dy dx. So I'm taking out the greatest factor of, or the greatest common factor of dy dx. And we are left behind with negative x plus 3y squared equals y minus 3x squared. I'm going to take this and divide it to the other side. At the same time, I'm going to choose to reverse the order just so I don't have a negative in front. You don't have to do that. So I'm going to say 3y squared minus x.